Long ago, in the golden realm of Asgard, a powerful baby was born. His name was Thor, son of Odin, the wise and mighty king of the gods, and Jord, the goddess of the earth. From the moment he was born, everyone in Asgard knew Thor was special. As a child, he was strong, fearless, and full of energy, with a laugh that echoed like thunder across the skies. He grew up in a magnificent palace, surrounded by the gods and heroes of Asgard. Thor loved playing with his clever but mischievous brother Loki, although Loki often got them both into trouble. While Loki loved tricks and games, Thor dreamed of becoming a mighty warrior and protecting the 9 realms. He was determined to prove himself worthy of his father's legacy and defend his beloved homes. When Thor grew older, his father Odin decided it was time for him to have a weapon worthy of a future king. Odin called upon the dwarves, the greatest craftsmen in the 9 realms, to create a weapon like no other. They forged Mjölnir, a magical hammer that could summon thunder and lightning, shatter mountains, and always return to Thor's hand when he threw it. But Mjölnir was not easy to wield. It was incredibly heavy, and only someone strong, brave, and pure of heart could lift it. Thor spent years training, mastering its power and learning to control its mighty lightning. He became a protector of Asgard, vowing to use Mjölnir only to defend the innocent and fight evil. The hammer was more than just a weapon. It was a symbol of Thor's strength, courage, and responsibility. Thor's brother Loki was known throughout Asgard as a clever trickster. He loved causing mischief, though his pranks often caused problems for everyone around him. One day, Loki decided to play a prank on Sif, Thor's wife, who was famous for her long golden hair. While she slept, Loki sneaked into her room and cut off all her hair. When Sif awoke, she was heartbroken, and Thor was furious. To avoid Thor's wrath, Loki promised to fix his mistake. He traveled to the land of the dwarves and convinced them to craft magical golden hair for Sif that would grow like her own. The dwarves also created treasures for the gods, including Thor's belt of strength, which doubled his power. Though Loki's tricks often caused trouble, Thor always forgave him, knowing that Loki's cleverness sometimes helped the gods as much as it hurt them. One day, a giant named Mjölnir came to Asgard, boasting about his strength and claiming that no one could defeat him. He challenged the gods to a duel, and Thor, always ready to defend his home, accepted. The gods gathered to watch the battle between Thor and Mjölnir. The giant was massive, with a body of stone and a weapon that seemed unbreakable. Thor, armed with Mjölnir, faced him without fear. The two clashed with incredible force, shaking the ground and sending sparks flying through the air. Lightning flashed as Thor struck the giant's weapon, shattering it into pieces. With a final blow, Mjölnir struck Mjölnir, and the giant fell to the ground. The gods cheered as Thor stood victorious, proving once again that no enemy could threaten Asgard as long as he was there. Thor loved adventure and often sought out challenges beyond the safety of Asgard. One day, he decided to travel to Jotunheim, the land of the giants, to test his strength. He brought his mischievous brother Loki and his loyal servant Thialfi with him. As they journeyed through the icy lands, they encountered many strange and powerful beings. Eventually, they reached the hall of a giant king named Utgard Loki, who invited them inside but did not trust them. To prove their worth, the giant king challenged them with magical tasks. Thor tried to lift a giant cat, but later discovered it was the Midgard Serpent in disguise. He drank from a magical cup that seemed endless and wrestled an old woman who was secretly the spirit of old age. Though Thor did not win, Utgard Loki admitted the challenges were meant to trick him. Even so, Thor's strength and bravery impressed him, and Thor left Jotunheim with his head held high. The Midgard Serpent, Jormungandr, was one of Thor's most fearsome enemies. It was a massive sea creature so large it could circle the entire world. One day, Thor decided to face the serpent during a fishing trip with a giant named Hymir. Thor used a giant ox head as bait, and soon the serpent rose from the depths of the sea. Its eyes glowed like fire, and its massive body coiled around the boat. Thor pulled with all his strength, determined to bring the serpent out of the water. Lightning flashed as Thor raised Mjölnir to strike, ready to defeat the beast once and for all. But Hymir, terrified of the serpent's size and power, cut the fishing line. The serpent sank back into the sea, hissing in fury. Thor was disappointed, but vowed that he would face Jormungandr again in the final battle. Though Thor was known as a fierce warrior, he also had a kind and generous heart. He often visited Midgard, the world of humans, to help those in need. One day, he stayed with a poor farming family who barely had enough to eat. To help them, Thor offered his magical goats, Tangrisnir and Tangnjosta, which pulled his chariot. He told the family they could cook and eat the goats, but warned them not to break the bones. However, one of the children, curious and hungry, broke a bone to get the marrow. The next morning, when Thor used his magic to revive the goats, one of them was injured. Though he was upset, Thor forgave the family, understanding their struggles. To make up for it, he blessed their farm with a bountiful harvest. Thor's kindness and understanding made him beloved by humans and gods alike. Thor knew that one day, the great battle called Ragnarok would come. It was the end of the world, when the gods and their enemies would clash, and the earth would be reborn. Thor's destiny was to face the Midgard Serpent one last time. When Ragnarok began, the skies darkened, the ground cracked, and fire rained from the heavens. Thor fought bravely alongside the other gods, determined to protect Asgard and the 9 realms. He finally met Jormungandr on the battlefield. The serpent hissed and spat deadly poison, but Thor stood firm, swinging Mjölnir with all his might. The battle was fierce, and Thor struck the serpent with a final thunderous blow, killing it. But the serpent's poison was too strong. Though Thor took 9 steps before falling, his bravery and sacrifice saved the world. Even as the old world ended, a new one began, with Thor's legacy living on in the hearts of gods and humans forever.